So this is Michael Davis, and this is my reflection video about the multimedia presentation I made. I would suggest if you haven't watched the link that I provided that you go back and watch that first, as I'm going to kind of explain this video as if you've already watched the video. I have it playing right here on the screen, but I turned off the audio and I'm just going to kind of jot my way through the questions so you won't get a full feel for it. Again, if you haven't watched that video, I'd go watch that one first because I'm going to assume you've already seen it. So as far as my project description, I wanted to develop a few years ago a series of online video tutorials that teach students how to enhance their writing with different style features. One of the things as a high school English junior and senior level that we're expected to do is to take students beyond writing just simple sentences to writing sentences with a lot of variety and specific stylistic devices like hyphens and semicolons. So this was a way in which to achieve that standard. I also wanted to make the lessons fun, quick, and just not overwhelming with the amount of grammar jargon that's in there, because I do find that a lot of students struggle with those sort of things. And then finally, since these lessons tended to be the same when I would teach about semicolons or I would teach about appositives, I decided it would be better to make a series of video lessons so I wasn't doing the same lesson every single year. And also it allowed for me to differentiate instruction where my more advanced kids could watch more of these style videos and my struggling students maybe watched one or two, just to allow for that differentiation. Now for this project, I decided I was going to take my videos from just kind of passive note-taking devices where I was simply delivering a lecture to be more interactive, where students were going to have to answer questions as they were going. I would be able to check their answers to make sure they're actually learning without having to physically actually go look over their shoulder and see what they're writing, but digitally get those responses and hopefully improve the quality of instruction while still kind of building on this foundation of using video lessons to teach grammatical structures. My audience is going to be students in my classroom for the next many years. The first set of 11 videos I have used non-stop for the last 2 or 3 years. It took a few months to develop all the videos, but then I just kept using them over and over again and continue to do so. This one, I plan on doing the exact same thing. In fact, I'll talk later on in this lesson about how making this video has actually inspired me to go back and fix or adjust those earlier videos as well. So my project objectives: by the end of viewing the screencast videos that I made, I want students to be experts at using whatever stylistic device I'm teaching about. This is one where I decided I'd do one-word sentences as a way to vary sentence structure, to use those effectively. So by the end of the video, I want students to watch it, take notes on it, answer the questions as the notes are going, and then be able to use one-sentence structures in their own, or one-word sentences in their own writing. How did I meet the objective? So I did take the template that I used before for PowerPoints just because the structure fit the notes that I had students take. It starts with a what is it, and then rules and examples, and then a use it box. And previously that's all students did, is they filled in those notes. But for this lesson, I wanted to build on that previous knowledge. So I took the raw screencasts. I made like 2 or 3 of them, which I discovered in YouTube. If you have multiple videos, you can easily combine them. I used to just try to get it right in one take, and if I had a mistake that was big, I would have to go back and reshoot the whole video. Well, knowing through this class, finding out that YouTube actually has a video editor in it, I made like 1 or 2 big mistakes. I left a few small ones in there because I don't sweat about the videos being absolutely 100% without errors. However, for the bigger mistakes, I had 1 or 2, and I would just pause the video and then I'd shoot another screencast, and when I went to YouTube, I was able to combine the videos and edit out the parts I didn't like. After editing on YouTube and getting all 3 of the videos, because I made an intro video earlier on in this class, and then I made 2 or 3 of the actual lesson videos with big mistakes, and I edit those out. I combined them all together to make the one long continuous video you're seeing on the screen here. It looks like it paused because it's asking for a question, but no big deal. I said if you wanted to see it, to go back and watch the link. So that way I could then take it and bring it over into a program that I recently learned about known as an Edpuzzle. An Edpuzzle stops and asks questions as you're going along to make sure that you're understanding the material that's being covered. So that's why it stopped here, is it's asking an Edpuzzle question. So it breaks rule 1. I'll go and submit that. I got the answer incorrect, and then I'm going to click continue, so that way the video will go on. So anyways, as I was saying, I put it into Edpuzzle, and then I generated those questions so that way as kids are doing the notes, they are getting feedback about whether or not they're learning the device and how to use it correctly. This is why I think after this lesson, I'm going to have to go back and redo some of those earlier videos, because I want them to have this interactive feature so the students are not just asked to be passive learners when they're learning about these different examples and stylistic devices. That kind of fits for the reflection. That is what I've taken away the most, as well as just kind of the idea that if I'm going to do digital lessons, which I do plan on doing more of these in the future, I've got to make sure there's more than just them writing down notes, because otherwise that's just a lecture via video format, as opposed to really using the technology in a way in which I think it's intended, which is to enhance learning, not just to replicate what I already do in person. As far as the ISTE standard that was the basis for this project, I took ISTE 3A, because I took what I knew already, the screencasting, a little bit about Edpuzzles, a little bit about YouTube, and I just kind of combined it all together to make this final finished product that I was able to create, and now I plan on using for upcoming lessons. Okay, that's going to be pretty much it for my project. I hope that, I know this video was pausing as it was going through, but I hope you got a chance to check out the actual Edpuzzle itself. You don't have to go all the way through it, but it is kind of cool to see how Edpuzzle works if you've never used it before. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment on my post. Thank you.